All right. We're going to go right back into the start of our second half with Ann Wetstein, President and Senior Human Resources Consultant at Human Resources Consulting, LLC. Ann has been the President of HR Consulting for over a year. Outside of the business operations area of the business, she is a Senior HR Consultant for over 50 clients in Wisconsin, providing them with HR strategy and tactical support. She enjoys solving problems and engaging with owners and management to find solutions related to HR. She has over 15 years of HR experience and looks forward to continuing to grow her firm as well as their outreach in Wisconsin. Ann is going to provide some ideas for your business and HR team to improve as a team. Please welcome Ann. And back for very popular support from last year, so thank you.
Thank you. Like Tony mentioned, I am Ann Wetstein with Human Resources Consulting. Tony, obviously, thanks for having us. We're pretty picky in HR of who we partner with. We have an opportunity to work with a lot of brokers and see, I guess, a lot of the service side. And what I can say is that 5G is obviously one of our preferred partners, right? Working from an administrative standpoint, a support standpoint for not only us in HR, but also the employees of the customers that we're working with. So thanks again. Want to have an opportunity here to say thanks to everybody for coming. I know that being behind a closed door with HR isn't always everybody's first cup of tea. So thanks for being here. I have our team. Got it? Okay. Oops. There it goes. We're good. So not only, obviously, I'm the president, but Nick Erler is the vice president. Also shares several clients with 5G and helps about anywhere from 50 to 70 customers or clients, different size organizations on a monthly basis. So we're excited to be here and talk a little bit about hot topics, a little bit on compliance, and then we're going to talk a little bit about kind of the life cycle that everyone's seeing, right, from a recruiting standpoint, onboarding, retention, all of those areas that we're constantly trying to improve upon to keep those good players in our organization. My team is also here, the best team. They are scattered throughout here, right, to help ask questions and keep me on track and hopefully do some engagement too. So you guys can network them after or in between, anything like that. Okay. All right, so again, really briefly on handbooks, right? We know this is a hot topic. It's something that comes up about this quarter every year. You have an opportunity to kind of settle down after, the end of the year last year and kind of get some different processes or procedures, figure out what you want to kind of adapt to or what's going on. So you have an opportunity, right, to make sure that you have clear expectations, that your employees are going to have clarity on the policies and things like that that you're expecting them to adhere to. So let's take a look at some of the most, recent updates, right? We used to get it all the time that, hey, every couple years, I haven't looked at our handbook. What do we put in there? Or what's supposed to be coming into effect? We're kind of pushing, let's look at that a little more often, right? You're getting different demographics of employees, different age of employees, different industries, a little bit greener people, whatever it might be. So let's look at it a little more often, right? 9, 12 months kind of max. It does not have to be a large update, right? Some of these might just be adding 1 or 2 of these in, right? These are just a couple examples. I would say probably in the last 12 to 18 months that we've definitely put in, right? Either from a best practice standpoint or people just wanted to update a little from a compliance standpoint. Again, infectious disease policy, tobacco, which seems to be ever changing, right, weekly on what's out there. So just updating those things. Again, really the key is allow yourself some discretion, right, with the situations that come up, and then just make sure that you have a good guider, right? This handbook is really intended to be a resource for your employees and supervisors at every level to go to say, how do we handle that here, right? How does my organization handle this? Again, so if you haven't done it, I highly suggest taking a look at it in the next year. All right, so now we talk a little bit about the life cycle. I know we get a lot of questions, and I know this is something that I talked with Tony and Lauren about. What do people want to hear about? Okay, well, we know that we've constantly been in this recruiting phase, right? I would assume that everybody here, right, is recruiting at some point. So We're going to talk a little bit about the recruiting trends, obviously the fact that this is a candidate-driven market, and how are we standing out, what can we do better from not only just getting them in, but then keeping them and going through that entirety of the process in the first 60, 90 days. Okay, so top trends from a recruiting standpoint. And please stop me if you have any questions or want any other input outside of what I put on here. Inbound recruitment, right? How are you making your company look better, right? I know for my organization, when I look to bring people in, I don't necessarily want to look at the people that aren't employed, right, or haven't been working, or don't seem to me like they're looking for something, right? I want somebody that sees us and says, wow, I want to leave where I am, right, to go with them. They look awesome. They look fun. They look like they're doing good things for the community. They look like they're, have really strong mission, vision, values, whatever it is. So figuring out how to attract those candidates, and some of them that are just, we hear a lot from people that, I'm kind of passively looking right now. Awesome. Let me sell you on this, right? Let me sell you on this organization that we're working for and how great they are. 2, technology. Use it when you can. I mean, obviously these recruiting sites are getting easier and easier. They kind of have little applicant tracking systems and applications within them. If you guys use some sort of HRIS model, right, Paylocity, Paycom, Paychecks, whatever, you have modules in there for those things as well. So if your budget and I guess the process from an efficiency standpoint, that makes sense, don't be afraid to use that. One of the things that I say about these is so often you're looking at, the candidates come in and you might say, no now, but so much of us are having to go back to the people where we said, we might have said no to them from an experience or an industry standpoint, but we're in a different position now to find somebody, right? So it can be a great and important tool to be able to go back and easily find some people that maybe were second or third choices. Social media, I think that's pretty obvious, right? Let's use it how we can, whether you're reaching out from a company standpoint or a personal standpoint to try to make a connection. Let's do that. Let's reach out to them. Let's see what they're up to. Let's see what they're into. There's tons of groups out there, right, from a skilled trade aspect or different types of industries that kind of all rally together, right? So you can get some exposure there. And referrals, right? What better than being able to go and say, hey, employees, we want you to, like us enough, right, to bring the people in that you like or that you want to come here. So how can we encourage our employees, right, to go and tell their friends? Number one, you're most likely getting somebody in from a referral that referring employee trusts, right? They don't want to look bad. They don't want to bring somebody in that probably isn't going to do a good job, et cetera. So how do we really engage with our employees outside of them liking their job, right? So we're going to talk about a couple things that we can do to try and enhance, your current employees to let people know, hey, we're hiring and this is awesome, come on in. Local trends. So how are we doing that? How is HRC doing that? We're doing, 100 to 150 openings, I would say, at any given time for the span of our clients. Okay, we are looking at the type of role, the industry that you're in, the compensation range that you're in, and we're saying, where can we put you, right? What type of role is this, and where can we put this job that it's going to do well in the market? Indeed, LinkedIn, Career Builder, what are those paid ones? Monster, and then all these free sites, right? That these, you pay for Indeed and you pay for a Career Builder, and they all these free sites will scrape it for you, right? If you put a budget on it. So how do we maximize exposure? So again, if you're not sure of where to go with it, figure out who to ask, right? And see, what one of these sites have, a lot of the similar ads that you're doing, right? If you're looking for a customer service rep, go to Indeed and type in customer service rep. If there's 30-some pages of customer service reps, all right, well, you're in the right place. Now we figure out how you stand out, right? So again, targeting your market, understanding where you're going to perform the best, and how do you maximize exposure. 2, response time. We used to have this large pool of candidates, right, that came to us, and we were like, awesome, we're going to filter through those in a couple days because there's so many. And we're going to, figure out which ones we like, and then we'll call them when we want to call them, and they're waiting for us. And That's just really not how it is anymore, right? You're going out and hunting and you're, you're resume mining for people, and you are trying to get them to say, all right, I'll give you a chance and listen to what you have to say and listen about your company and see what you're going to pay me and all those things they care about. So response time, right? Typically the same day. We are looking to not only review the resume, hopefully reach out to them if we like them, right? Or talk with the hiring manager and say, do you have more interest in this person? If so, great. We're going to reach out and we're going to at least touch base with them and have some sort of connection with them and have a plan. That could be that we can't talk for 2 days or 1 day, but we're at least making a connection and we're staying connected to that person within that 24 hours or 48 hours of when we can actually speak with them. Again, response time. A lot of these candidates, whether they're passively looking or not, you have to assume that they are in different stages. I might talk to someone that already has 3 offers but really liked our company and wanted to talk with me. Great, I'm going to try to talk with them right away. Or it's 2 people in different phone screens, or you don't know where you are at in their process, number 1, unless you ask, and number 2, just assume that you want to keep moving pretty quickly. And then compensation trends. This is a little bit loaded, right? And from a competitive pay standpoint, there's obviously more that goes into that total compensation look, other than just pay. But still, making sure that you're taking a look where you're at with the market, right? Over the last 3 years, I'm sure a bunch of you have done, whether it was kind of flat market increases, or you increased the percentage that you were looking at from an annual pay perspective, right? When you were doing their annual reviews. Maybe you pushed up their reviews, right, to get them a little bit higher. This is something that you should be looking at annually. Again, it doesn't mean that you have to look at every single job. You could take different divisions or do something, but just make sure that you're doing something habitually to look at where your pay ranges are and where your competitors are. Again, from a total that's just salary, right? But you want to do this with benefits and perks and anything else that you offer, right? Gas cards, gift cards, potlucks, wellness programs, Fitbits, whatever it might be. It's not just insurance, right? You're looking at that ancillary coverage too. So make sure that you're comparing all of these, right? And saying, what do we offer from a total comp standpoint, right? Maybe we're light a little bit here, but look at all of these things that we do from a wellness and cultural aspect that truly give us a lot more value from a benefit or a total look. Flexibility when it's allowed, right? That's all we've been hearing is remote and hybrid, and we don't want to come back, or we do want to come back, or can we now go part-time or flex this? That's fine if it works for you, and it's fine if it doesn't work for you. If you can do it, great. Again, it's what the market is looking for now, but it isn't a deal breaker, right? It's not a deal breaker. Many people, want to come back into the office. A lot of people do a lot more. All of our girls love to be there because I buy them lunch almost every day, but they did ask to come. They didn't want to be at home, and neither did I. So it just depends on your culture. And again, if all of your supervisors say, well, I want to work from home, and all their employees are in the office, great. That's a good reason to say this isn't going to work, but how do we flex this? Maybe it's 1 day a week or something. But utilize all of the tools that you have, right, in your HR kit and your ops kit, your business kit, and figure out how, I guess, you can be as proactive as you can from a candidate and a hire standpoint in that process. Any recruiting questions? I know we're doing like an HR roundtable after this, so we'll be addressing some of these too, but if you have any questions, just raise your hand. Okay. So, you have found your perfect person. We have put the money in, we have put the time in, our hiring team has done a great job, our supervisors have found that right person. Are you ready for them to come in, right? That onboarding process truly starts the second that person says yes. You're like, okay, great. How can I make this a good experience for them, right? All right, we're going to get their 30, 60, 90-day touch bases ready, right? HR is going to have some sort of 30 HR review. How are things going? Do you know where the bathroom is and the break room, and kind of more of that soft aspect of it from HR. But then from the tactical side, who are you working with? Is it the supervisors? Is it the accounting team? Is it your office manager? How can we make sure that we are ready for them? I cannot tell you how many times that we have kind of giggled because we're like, oh my gosh, they're like, go ahead and log into your email. And then they're like, I don't have an email. No one got them anything set up. So office equipment, emails, business cards, how can you make sure that when they come, that they have this feeling like, wow, they were so excited for me to be here, as excited as I was to start this new job. Okay, so that's what you want to feel. Is that flowers on their desk? Is it lunch their first day? Probably. What a nice thing to do, right? And if it's in a position or a manufacturing or production and you say, oh, well, we can't really leave, right, and go to lunch, great. Grab Jimmy John's or grab something and meet in the break room with a supervisor or a plant manager, right, on their first day or in their first week. But make sure that they know what's going on, right? Provide clear communication from the start on their timeline, what they need to bring, what they can expect, and what does that at least the first couple of days look like, right? You can add on to that kind of week or 2 week onboarding plan as you go, but just at least make sure that you have those first couple days. Training schedules. Who are the critical people or the key people that we think they would want to talk with, right? Or that would be informational, right? You have multi-divisions in your company. Make sure that someone's going to represent them, right, from each one, and you can at least tell a little bit about what we do and what we're about and what's important to them, things like that. And follow through. It can be a long process, right? We've seen 2-week notices, 4-week notices, 6 weeks notices, depending on what the level of the position is, right? So make sure that you're in that constant communication, because you've lost people, right, during that interim of while you're waiting for somebody to start. They get swooped up somewhere else, something like that. Much less likely, right, if they feel like they're already a part of the team and you already have this communication and this rapport going. So again, new employee investment, right? You're looking at marketing exposure, you're looking at your hiring team costs, your consumer reports, your background reports, drug test, driving, whatever you're doing, training, prep, and kind of this ongoing portion with them, right? You're looking at, I don't know, I think at the end of last year we took a look and it's somewhere between $4,800 and $5,000 for a hire. And that's a direct hire, right? That is someone that you guys found on your own internally, not something from an outside firm. So you already have this very large investment before this person starts. Why wouldn't we want to make sure that it goes well? So how do we improve the process? We got into it a little bit. But again, new hire lunch, making sure that their first day goes well, meeting with those key people in any kind of critical roles. And give them time. This doesn't have to be a very rigid, hey, we planned out their first 3, 4, or 5 days. Here's every hour on the hour. Here's their spot for lunch and a bathroom break, right? Most people are looking and saying, okay, I need a minute to log into the email. Take a look at what my computer setup is or my desk setup is, or maybe just wander around and take a little bit of a tour and kind of say hello to people. So don't be afraid that, again, this onboarding plan shouldn't, be taking you days or weeks to come up with, right? It's just a guider so that you can make sure that they're touching all the areas that they need to make them comfortable. Okay, so again, from the life cycle, then we're looking at retention, right? Again, found that right person, we brought them in the right way, we think they're happy because they're still showing up for work, which is great. So number 3, how do we keep them, right? How do we maintain this relationship that we've brought them into and made such a good impression on? Again, these go deeper, right? But you're looking at strong leadership from a communication standpoint, right? Are my leaders and my supervisors over communicating? Are they making sure that the people know the what, the why, the how behind it as much as they can, right? Are we getting frequent feedback, right? So are those supervisors staying engaged with them? Do they know what's important to people, what's motivating people, and are they giving them the right feedback, right? Or constructive feedback and helping them? Employee recognition. This does not, by any means, have to be something very expensive. There's low-cost, no-cost recognition ideas, right? There's copying in my boss's boss to let them know how good of my employee did, right? And that employee sees that person's on that email, and they say, wow, I was recognized, right? And other people are seeing this. Again, gas cards, gift cards, whatever, obviously within the right denominations, but and then competitive compensation, again, as a whole in total compensation. What are you doing from a benefit standpoint, kind of all-encompassing, and on any other perks? So your strong leadership, right? So there's been this kind of couple-year gap where we've seen a lot of supervisors that may have been pushed into a role or accepted a role a little prematurely based on some hiring needs, right? Or they're just going in maybe a little bit premature than what we would have liked. So there's a large portion of what we need to do to train them, right? From kind of an HR 101 standpoint and just a support system. So making sure that you have the right leaders in place and that they're strong communicators, and I guess they know what to look for, right, in any signs in terms of employees and what they need. So obviously that leadership leads to improved efficiency, increased productivity, happy employees, right? A lot of times your good employees, right, if they're not getting what they need from their leadership, it's a kind of a pusher to say, what else do I need, or do I want to go somewhere else? So frequent feedback, right? Benefits of employee communication. Over communicating. Again, genuinely people want to be in the know. Doesn't mean that they have to know every single detail of where we're at or the decisions that ops might be making, but let's at least give them something. They want to feel like their input is valued. They want to feel like they're heard, and they want to be a part of the process. So any key information with the company, team, projects, training, things that are coming up, right? Help them understand the role that they play, right, within the team and the company, and just help them feel connected, right? And again, communication, feedback, addressing issues as they come up, not waiting, those types of things. Employee recognition and perks. I know I gave you guys a couple of these. Food, we literally put food on there all the time because no one says no to food. Gift cards, company events. We saw kind of these last 3 or 4 years. Those are some of the things that got cut, right? The Christmas parties, the potlucks, the quarterly this or that. We celebrate most holidays, right, and dress up. Like just getting back to some of those normal things that people really do miss. And again, adoption of the employee referral program and employee recognition program, those types of things. And if you need resources in those, just ask. We got a lot of things on this from a remote standpoint, right? My employees are at home. What do I do now? It's hard for them to feel connected, right? Even though they're choosing to be at home and they want to work at home. Okay. So how do we still keep that same culture while we have this hybrid work environment now? Create a Zoom or create a coffee date or have them come in for some reason or get them a gift card for coffee while you buy the office coffee or something. Figure out how you can connect with them and make sure that they're still engaged in whatever that culture or environment is. Again, understanding that it's probably their choice to work at home, that's fine. We can still kind of create that environment for them, or at least try to if it's something that they're open to. Competitive comp, again, reviewing your market trends, not just from a pay standard. We have been doing tons and tons of benefit surveys. Do you have 2 people on your dental? Do you have 4 people on your vision? Where are you at? What do they value? What are they asking for? And let's get kind of a pulse of the organization based on what they're looking for. Again, different demographics, right? Different age groups, different family situations, they might need different things. So find out what's important to them so that you can figure out how you can provide that and kind of be wide span about it, or at least kind of hit everybody to as much as you can to make them happy. So it's simple, right? It can be anonymous. You can send it out if you think you'll get good feedback or honest feedback if it's not anonymous, but 5 or 6 questions. What benefit do you value the most? From a pay standpoint, do you think it's fair? Is there something that you do differently? If so, what are some of your ideas? How can we use our dollars wisely? Hidden paychecks. I don't know how many of you do hidden paychecks or the total comp reports at the end of the year. Something that we try to do, I don't know, probably it depends when your performance cycle is. We usually like to have them done by the time that you are planning on having your sit-down annual review with somebody, right? So that you have an opportunity to take a look at what makes up their total comp. What are the premiums that we've contributed to for them for all of their benefits? Mileages, bonuses, stipends, salary as it by itself, and putting all those numbers in so that they can take a look and say, wow, my salary wasn't 60,000, right? Because when we take a look at what they actually paid for me from an employee standpoint, I'm here, okay? So that you can have that conversation, especially if you're looking to have a difficult conversation about an increase or a comp, or whether it's budget related or performance related. But the employees are really loving to see what that breakdown is, and it gives you an opportunity as an employer to say, look at all the things that we've done, right? We're hopefully happy here, but also look at all these extra things that we did that people kind of don't, I guess, associate with their level of pay when they're thinking of just salary. So again, key takeaways from a leadership and retention standpoint: over communication, right? Coupled with your strong leadership, solid feedback, one-on-ones, and kind of that total comp look. Again, it's just giving those employees a little bit more detail into what they're asking, or maybe the ones that aren't afraid to ask. Compliance, I'm just touching on very briefly of some of the things that we've been asked lately. There are plenty of webinars and attorneys and law firms I know that push these things out to probably all of you, and very often. So increased diversity, equity, inclusion. I highly encourage you, if you are not doing something annually from a harassment, workplace behavior, professional workplace behavior, things like that, that I would at least be doing that annually, right, from a liability standpoint. But now we've been adding in these from an annual standpoint. So along with that professional workplace behavior, harassment, those types of things, while you're talking about those, let's talk about our diversity, equity, and inclusion. So this DEI training has become obviously more and more popular. It's all over the internet. If you have employment attorneys or anyone else that you work with, or even us, whoever, just ask and they can get you a copy. But at least something to go through and making sure that all your employees have this. Remote work on HR compliance. These are ever changing, right? From an I-9 standpoint, to how we keep employee files, to what we can get signed electronically or digitally. So just make sure that you're looking through and you're following up on these and making sure that your employees, whether you have hard copy files or electronic files, that you are in compliance with how you're either getting that new hire paperwork, sending out those final wrap-up letters, whatever it might be that you're working with or that you're touching. Pay transparency. This one, it's coming slowly, right, to each of these states. We mostly see it, we're doing a lot in Illinois, Minnesota, and some of those bordering states. I will say that I think when this came out a couple years ago, people were like, ugh, how are we going to do this? I think people are much more open now, or at least organizations that we work with, to say, are we competitive? Are we paying our people what we should? And where are we? And they're a little bit more transparent anyways, because they know to get somebody in, right, whether you're using recruiting sites or contract to hire firms or headhunters, whatever it is, you have to be transparent and tell these people what they're going to make anyways. A lot of these people won't talk to you unless that's on the job ad, right? Or unless they know what it is so they don't waste their time. So again, while it's going to come from a law standpoint, yes, probably very soon, but as a best practice, we've been doing that anyways, right? And again, and if you feel I can't do this because I'm not competitive right now on where we are, well, then you need to look into that internal equity, right? That internal pay equity, and where are you guys at? Okay, what to watch for? Talent shortage, yes. So looking inward, again, what can you do from inside your organization and find people, I don't know, marketing exposure, just getting out there and really kind of selling yourself. But also taking a look at the level of person that you need. Do you really need a bachelor's? Do you really need 7 to 9 years, or does 6 years work? Does an associate's work? Does experience work instead of that degree? That's all types of conversations that you should be having if you're feeling like I cannot find the right person. There are green and trainable people out there. We hire them every day, and they are not set in their ways, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful to talk to these candidates who say, yeah, I'll try that. I'm open to that. I'll cross-train. That's great, right? If they're a cultural fit, right, let's find that 80% cultural fit, that 20% skill, because you should have the right people in place that train those skilled areas. 2, employee experience. One of the newest focus in HR is the employee experience. We touched on this previously, but flex work models, company perks, whatever that looks like, your culture, what can you guys do to have fun and show them that they're valued? 3, utilizing that technology as much as you can. We still use Excel recruiting database spreadsheets. So here we are. It's fine. Whatever works for you and whatever is efficient for you, utilize that. But know that there are very helpful modules from an onboarding standpoint, a benefit standpoint, a payroll standpoint, and pretty easy to implement. And 4, prioritizing employee health and wellness. This has been preached at least the last 5-10 years, right, is how do we keep our workforce healthy as these driving costs. That's why you partner with a good broker so that they know what they're doing, and we can say, please take this because our employees are unhappy, and help us come up with something. Okay, so that was it again. From a life cycle standpoint, we're recruiting. We're trying to get that, what we're doing to bring that right person in. We're bringing that right person in the right way, right, so that they want to be here, they're excited to be here continuously, frequently touching base with them, and then we're saying, all right, we're going to keep you here, right, and we're going to retain you, and you're valued and you're important. And yeah, so again, there's several tools in our toolkit. If you do have questions, find one of us. Sam's back there, Carson, and Andy are over here. We're happy to share any of our knowledge or our resources with you guys. Does anybody have questions? We are doing the HR roundtable after, where again we're gonna ask 8 to 10 questions that really kind of relate to all of these things. So good. Thanks, guys. Oh, do you want me to keep this on? Probably. Do you want to turn this one down? I have to keep it on.
And we're good. I heard Laura Butler talks really long, so we're good on schedule still, so it's great. We're going to ask at this time our 3 roundtable panelists join us on stage. We have hand-selected these individuals to ensure that we have diversity on the panel with sizes of employers and can get feedback from multiple different viewpoints and mindsets. Today we have joining us Amy Seehafer, Chief Operating Officer for the PFS Companies, parent company of Packer Fastener, Packer Freight, and Elbow Manufacturing. Amy is a certified HR pro with 20-plus years in HR and OD and shared service operations experience in manufacturing, professional financial services, and manufacturing, distribution, and transportation. Amy is a proud 2-time UW Green Bay grad with a BA in organizational communications, business, and MS in management. Amy's true passions are with her family and diagnosing, solving complex organizational challenges and assisting others in achieving their greatest potential. Please welcome Amy. Can we get some chairs? Hey, Bernie, can you grab 3? Oh, they're back here. Okay. You're not going to sit back there. We'll move them up here. Can you grab the... Yeah, well, there we go. All right. Perfect. All right. And second, we have Kristen Olson is the HR manager, human resources manager at Huberty, a mid-sized accounting firm. Kristen lives in the Oshkosh area and enjoys spending time outdoors with her husband and dog. Let's invite Kristen up. And third, we have Peggy Cole, has been with Bar Inc. in Oshkosh for the past 29 years, working in sales, marketing, and HR, and as the COO. As Peggy begins her exit strategy for retirement, she is working more with the HR end of the business. Peggy is married with 2 sons and 4 wonderful grandchildren. They are her smile creators, she says, along with the time outdoors and a glass of wine to round out her day. Please welcome Peggy. Awesome. So I will let Ann's going to be the moderator this year, and we'll let them go ahead. We have some pre-selected questions that we did provide Ann. We also are going to have a microphone that people can ask questions once we're done with those pre-selected ones as well. So thank you very much.
Thanks. Check. We're good. Someone put it here. All right, I'm back. All right, So again, we have an opportunity. My feedback is really heavily from a small to medium-sized business aspect, so it'll be really nice to have some other input as we go through these things. Question number one. Have you tried anything new from a labor and staffing perspective in 2023 versus the last few years with the market struggle? Peggy, pick a name first.
Testing.
Yep.
We've changed our hiring ads. We do a lot of it on Indeed, and we do that through the Bamboo HR program. But we've gone more towards what we can do for, and what kind of company we can offer the candidates out there so that we're giving them a better work-life balance. We list more of the positives of our company and the benefits involved, less of the details of the position. That we kind of cover when we get them on the phone or in for an interview, mainly to show them that, hey, if you can come and work for us, we're working, 4 days a week, where we can offer you time with your family. So we're trying to sell them on what we can offer to them.
Awesome, that marketing aspect. Amy, anything to add?
Sure. One of the things that we've really focused on in the last couple of years is working very closely with the NEW Manufacturing Alliance. So for those of you who are manufacturers out there, we're not a manufacturer, we're actually a distributor and a freight brokerage, but we could join too, so you can. We found a lot of value through the NEW Manufacturing Alliance with partnering with schools. A lot of our jobs are people who just kind of don't have a home anywhere else, a lot of unskilled labor, people who really didn't maybe have a path created for them. So we have been focusing a lot more on telling our story. So a lot more social media presence. If you follow us, you'll start to see more stories of people who started in our warehouse as an order picker when they were 16 and are now one of our district sales managers, having a career that's bigger than they ever imagined. So we really are just a company with a really solid culture, very culture forward. We like to celebrate that and are just trying to talk more about it. We realized we weren't doing a very good job of that.
You guys have an awesome social media presence, so it's
Well, thank
really
you.
cool. Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, I guess one other thing I wanted to show. So this is kind of a funny thing, and it may seem like 1994 to some people, but we thought it was kind of cool. It was actually about a year ago. We were going to be participating in the De Pere Memorial Day Parade, so we handed these out. This is a card that it says, "Start your journey." Scan me. It's a QR code. It's just a business card. We had it printed locally. We hand these out. It takes people to our career site on Paycom, and it's created a bit of a buzz, and it's something that's just easy for us to hand out rather than doing a lot of explaining.
Awesome, great. Kristen, I know that we covered a lot, but do you have anything to add on this one?
Yeah, so we actually this year, we pursued the Youth Apprenticeship Program through CISA 6, and we are bringing on our first Youth Apprentice this summer. So he will be learning payroll aspects, he will be going through the whole consultant training that we provide our interns. And I would definitely encourage you to look into the Youth Apprenticeship Program if you are having staffing challenges. There's also a great, it's called Pathways, for students who are in high school that are maybe not pursuing college. And you can, work with that student to train them. And then after 3 months, you can decide whether you'd like to hire them on full-time and if it's a fit for both of you. If it's not, then it's less that you've had to waste. But so we're super excited about that. And it took a little nudging to our EC committee to allow them to bring on a youth apprentice student, but I think we're really excited about that.
Awesome, that's great. I haven't heard much of that. And really from our standpoint, I covered it a little bit. We are leaning really heavy on our Indeed rep. So again, it seems like it's the one that's working, right? And you're like, how do I keep competitive, right? And how do I stay sponsored? And how do I come up on these first couple pages? So we're really leaning on our dedicated reps on any of those sites that you're using to say, How much of a budget do I need? How does that budget even work? Why am I on page 16 instead of 1 when I just posted an hour ago, right? So working with your rep to kind of, I guess, just capture, right, what we should be doing to truly be at the forefront, right, especially with the exposure and budget that you're putting on those. So good. Number 2, Chris, well, we'll work our way back, Kristen, since you were last. How have you adjusted an employee's pay, perks, and your employee benefit packages due to the current labor markets?
So we are constantly doing market analysis with our benefits, wages. We are comparing a lot of, industry companies as well as other public accounting firms because, most people when they leave public accounting, they are going to industry. So they are going to work probably for most of your businesses. And we want to make sure that we're competitive with those businesses. And then we are also constantly offering different packages. We're evaluating our benefits. I know Tony hears from us quite a bit. Penny has been great to work with as well as letting us know what other businesses are offering and how we can continue to stay competitive. And then we also, we have different, we bring in a lot of food. So during tax season, we have Wednesday lunches. How we incorporate our remote employees is we've sent them gift cards for meal preparation services so they can, I think Blue Apron has been one of them. We've also done DoorDash gift cards depending on where they're located because not everyone is located in a serviceable area. And then we also have Tito Tuesdays. So it's not, a happy hour Tuesday. We actually have a dog that comes into our office. So our staff can bring in their pets as long as it's prearranged. And that works out really well for us.
Awesome. Thanks, Amy.
All right, so I bet everybody's heard about inflation, right? So we've been battling that, and at Packer, one of the things that my boss, our CEO, likes to say, if you're going to ask me the most important things that we have in our business, it's people, people. If you ask me for a fourth, it's people. So we have chosen to make a really large investment in making sure that we're at least matching inflation and exceeding inflation on our raises. We also took a look at our pay programs and realized that we had a leadership bonus program and we had a really rich commission structure for our salespeople, but we didn't really have anything for everybody else. So the people who are frankly doing a lot of the work weren't eligible for anything. So we instituted a profit sharing program, and we are a little over 1 year in, and we structured it such that we had 3 targets. So we had 1 income target, a second, and a third. And with that, people would get 1 week, 2 week, or 3 weeks of pay. And we paid 3 weeks of pay in the first year. We just completely knocked it out of the park. You bet people are talking about that, and they're telling people. We, hire largely on referrals, so that's been helpful. We also needed to kind of catch up with what other people, were doing, larger companies that were starting to pull people from. So we added a volunteer time off program, so we pay 8 hours a year for that. And let's see, we're also looking at adding a second shift too. A company like us wouldn't generally have another shift, but we're kind of, we're running out of room, so we're looking at adding a shift with 410s. It's kind of like going back to the future when I used to work in manufacturing, but that 410s we're thinking is going to be kind of popular, so we're able to add that in.
And we also went through all of our pay packages for all levels within the company, just to make sure that we were offering everything that's competitive in the area. Met with our Chamber of Commerce, and they do a really nice survey in which they give you, the answers to what everybody, depending if it's, small, medium, or large, they kind of combine that and give you an average of what the communities are doing, so you have something to compare that to. We've gone to the 4-day work week for those employees that wanted to. Some preferred to just work their 5 days, and those were mainly office people. The people in the shops were all about 4 10-hour days and a long 3-day weekend every week, so that's been a very promising for us. We did more than just the average. We did the 5% increases in January. We looked at everybody and said, we're going to make sure that with inflation that we can, help the people meet the goals that they have as individuals. And I think, we try to do a lot of conversations. We are try to be very open with our PTO time. We also offer 3 weeks right up front, and that's a big plus. So we try to stay ahead of the game instead of following the next guy.
Are you guys doing 3 weeks on all positions?
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. Good. Next, 3, what technology do you or your staff use that are game changers for cost efficiency or productivity? Amy?
All right, well, we do a whole bunch of things, but one of the things that I think has been a really game changer, it's not like a human resources platform, but if anybody's ever heard of the book called Traction Tools by a guy named Gino Wickman, we implemented about 2 years ago this, what he calls an EOS. So it's an operating system. We do all of our strategic planning, all of our quarterly planning, all of our weekly meetings. We have weekly meetings all over the place, and they're incredibly effective because they're very focused and very targeted. So we use an online platform along with that used to be called Traction Tools, but it's now rebranded as Bloom. Evidently, there was some kind of falling out between the Gino Wickman people and the other people. So it's called Bloom, Bloom. If anybody's interested in that, I'd be happy to talk with you. But we also use Paycom. Paycom, this is by far the smallest company I've ever worked for, so I was a little skeptical of Paycom, but Paycom has really pulled through and has been a really great automation tool for us. Our people really love it. It's mobile friendly, and we were just talking over lunch. We get next to no complaints about it. Now I'm going to knock on my head because there will be 4 when we get back, but really I've not heard any in the couple of years that I've been with Packer. Let's see, we're also looking into a learning management system called EdApp. Maybe other people have heard of EdApp. It's EDAPP. It's an Australian company. You wouldn't know they're Australian, but they're great. So we're looking at implementing that. There's a lot of off-the-shelf training that you can modify, put your own logos on, in addition to an engine that you can create your own. So we're in the midst of, kind of final phases of putting that out there. And one last that I'll mention is it's a financial visibility and management program that we had a bunch of corporate credit cards and other expense management processes that were kind of a mess, and it just caused a lot of chaos. So our financial team rolled something out called Divvy. I knew Divvy to be like bikes that you rent, like in Chicago, but it's a Divvy card. It's DIVVY. It's super easy to implement, and it's been a real game changer for our organization. We have a lot of visibility on what people are spending, what they're spending it for. Everything's online, mobile, and super easy to use. So I would highly recommend that too.
Awesome. Great. Kristen?
We also use Divvy, and I would say it's definitely a game changer for expenses. We transitioned this year into using Divvy, and you can, take a picture of your receipt, upload it to the Divvy platform, and your expenses are taken care of. It tracks everything. It's not a manual spreadsheet, so that's been great. We also use Bloom Growth. So we do level 10 meetings monthly for different departments. And I would say just the way those meetings are set up, the messages cascade down. You can kind of go through your issue trackers. We know, as you're working throughout the day, little issues come up and they belong to different areas of your business. So I think you can, send an issue to the talent group and then it's solved there. So that's been great as well. We use a lot of different technologies across our firm, and most of them are accounting based. I would say another game changer is Paylocity. So we transitioned to Paylocity last June, and that has been fabulous. We do applicant tracking, so their recruiting module has just made my life much easier. You can post to Indeed, LinkedIn, all with the click of a button. And then we also use it, obviously for payroll, and we use the benefits module, so that's been great. The benefits used to be very manual for me, and now our staff can go through and enroll in their benefits that they would choose, and then they can go back and reference. There's less emails to me that, hey, what did I enroll in? What does this benefit? They can go back and there's a nice dashboard for them. And I would say we have very, very few complaints. We also use the performance management app on Paylocity, and that has been game changer. The staff can set their goals, and they can go back and leave performance notes, and there's not questioning of, well, what did my performance review say last time? It's, it's all there for them, and they can monitor their performance throughout the year.
Excellent. Peggy?
And for us, we're using a program called Lambeau HR. So that has time tracking. It lets them enroll into benefits online, and they can go in, they can see where they're at on their PTO. They can submit a request for their PTO. They can look up what benefits that they signed up for. Everybody clocks in and out via their phone. So very easy and trackable. If you need it to be trackable, it'll tell you if they clocked in a mile up the road or if it was inside the building where they should have been.
Yeah, don't tell them.
We don't tell them that up front, but we are looking for a new base program where we use QuickBooks, and then we use a customer management program called Goldmine. We're looking for something that would incorporate the two of those to where we would have a lot less redundancy. So we're looking at things like NetSuite and some of the other big programs. We just haven't made a decision on that yet, but that will eliminate a lot of the paperwork redundancy that we have.
Awesome, great. So it sounds like, I mentioned this a little bit, but from that technology standpoint, those modules, Paylocity, we love. I don't think there's something simpler. Paylocity, Paycom, Bamboo are the three major ones I know that we use across, and we have to use whatever our clients have. So we're adapting to whatever is in there, but from a benefits onboarding, the efficiency is great. Good. 4. How are you staying engaged with your staff and the culture as a whole? Peggy?
Well, we try to get the HR and the supervisors and make sure they're going out into the shop areas, to the office areas, some of the more remote warehouses that we have, to those locations, meeting with the people, talk to them. Some really good ideas that have come up from the bottom on up about, we talk to them and say, well, how can we produce these doors much quicker? Well, if we had a different type of drill press, we could expedite this in half the time. So we have them do the research on the drill press of what they feel would meet their needs, and then we're incorporating that type of equipment into our system. But a lot of it, I think, is the communication, working with them, listening to them, talking to them, not only on a work level, but also on a personal level. Everybody has their issues, all of us included, and it's really nice when you can go up to someone and say, I heard about your pet, and you're going to have your pet put down, and we're so sorry to hear about that, and keep you in our thoughts. It makes such a big difference. And same when they come up to me and talk to me about, my mom passed a year ago, and give condolences. That brings you so much closer, and I think that makes them feel a bigger part of the organization.
Great. Kristen?
So we do our performance management check-ins 3 times a year, and then we have a career coach meeting with our staff. So that is once a year. And then we also do I do the 30, 60, 90-day check-ins, the 1-year check-in with new staff. And then we also do engagement surveys throughout the year, as well as we just have an open door policy with our staff. So a lot of times, I will have staff calling me, and sometimes it's simple questions. Other times, our shareholder group, they are always in the office and available for questions as well. I think the fact that we have leadership available to our staff 90% of the time, I think that really helps with engagement. And then we also do a series of different events throughout the year. I know next week we have our annual D-Tax party coming up, and so it's a play on tax season. But so it's an opportunity for all of our staff to join us in our Fond du Lac or Sheboygan office, and we do a grill out. It's just fun. We play bags and giant Jenga, sometimes Pictionary. So there's a lot that our staff can do to kind of engage with each other, because we do have such a broad workforce that it's nice for them to come together and enjoy each other.
Awesome. Amy?
All right, I struggled with this question a little bit because we have such a strong culture and we're just so naturally connected that I see the two girls from my company just shaking their heads, but tried to break it down to what we're doing. I had already talked about those weekly meetings that we do through the Bloom platform. Like was already mentioned, they're called Level 10 or L10 meetings. So we have cascaded that down from the leadership team all the way down through departments, and many of our leaders are currently even using these for like their one-on-ones. So I think we've got like we've got about 165 employees, and we've got about 118 people in our company utilizing that platform. So that's been really good. We also do quarterly meetings where our CEO is just incredibly transparent and really talks about all of the great things that are going on within the company, things that maybe aren't going as well, what we're doing about them, the things that we're doing for our community. I use a concept that I learned a while back. It's called Walk the Four Corners. It was really powerful to me because I was like, shoot, maybe I'm hitting 2, if that, some days, because we all get kind of stuck in our offices. So I really forced myself to get out and walk those 4 corners, and really with no agenda other than just connecting with people. And like you mentioned, Peggy, just talking to people about their lives. They want to share with you. They want to hear about you. And I learn a lot of things as I'm walking around. For people who aren't in the office, I make a point to reach out each week to at least 1 or 2 people in other offices and just say, hey, how's it going? Miss seeing you. How are things? What can I do to help you out? And that's been really well received. We're also really good at celebrating wins within our company. Big wins, small wins. We do a lot of food days and things like that. But we've brought back our summer picnic. We've got, and we kind of, do it our own way. We've got a kid who's he like 20? He's in a polka band. So he's got his concertina and his Pulaski socks that he's gonna wear. We're having him star today. So, this year in August, we're gonna do the Bay Beach and have his band, and we're bringing back our annual golf outing. We're looking to bring back our military fitness challenge that we did a few years ago before COVID, looking to bring that back again. But we are doing the holiday parties. We sponsored a Blizzard football game. For those of you in the Green Bay community, the Blizzard is always looking for sponsorships, and they will give you a section for your employees. It was super well received. We just did that in the last couple months. And yeah, just lots of events, lots of food, lots of just connecting all together. I don't know. Nothing
Told you.
fancy.
Yep, food never fails, right?
Food
never
just
fails.
Lots of food.
Right. I don't have too much more to add. I mean, those are obviously all great ideas and things we're trying to do. We're smaller, right? My whole staff is literally at one table. So and we have one at home, or one at the office holding down the fort. But we made it a point, right? From a consulting aspect, we are all over the place. We are, is it too loud? We are at 3-4 different places each day, and we are just looking to connect. We do a team lunch every 2 weeks. One of our staff is all remote. We don't get to see her as much as we want, but we make her come to lunch. And we're doing a golf outing, a customer appreciation golf outing where we all get to be together. But then we do just a local tiny tavern bar outing that does presents for Christmas in Pulaski. So we all do that one where we take off all of our hats and we actually get to golf. So that's fun. But yeah, all the food. We're actually also looking at renting out the De Pere Cinema so that their families and their grandparents and their parents and kids and everybody can come, so we can do some of the fun new movies that are coming out this summer. So. Great. Okay, number 5. What are 1 or 2 things that you think make what you do in your organization and for your people stand out and make your organization unique? Amy, I'll let you go first. I know you already said several of them. But.
Yeah. Well, I think the 2 things when I really think about what it is that make Packer Fastener and Packer Freight, All Bolt Manufacturing really powerful, I think it's culture and consistency. You always know what you're going to get within our organization because our culture is so strong. We celebrate the good. We don't allow the negative. We we hire so strongly to culture. It's amazing. You know, if we have people come in to our environment and we're kind of like, I don't know, they very quickly flush out. And we make a point to do that where, you know, every once in a while we're wrong. We learn from it and we move on. But that culture, you know, being really lively and playful and unyielding is incredibly powerful. You know, you walk around our halls and you hear people singing, people legitimately dancing. They might be throwing balls at one another, Nerf balls, of course. You know, we give out a lot of our gear. You probably see it around town on our people. We're playful. We have the world's largest hex nut down on the corner of Lombardi Avenue if you want to check it out. But, you know, it's really just learning who you are as an organization, who you want to be. If you haven't, how many people have heard of David Friedman and the work that David Friedman has done on intentional culture? If you haven't checked it out, I would check it out. There are many other people too, if you're not a fan of that, but Google intentional culture and just continue to work on it. It's super powerful.
Awesome, thanks. Peggy?
I guess similar to what was said earlier, I have always tried to have an open door policy that anyone in the company can come in and sit down and talk to me. And it can be about a personal issue they're having, it can be about a work issue, it could be about a manager that they're struggling with, or, you know, a lot of times the conversation comes around to, what can I do? What do I have to do to be able to grow with the company? So I think having an open door policy where they're comfortable at any point coming up and feeling that they can come in and sit down and have a realistic conversation with you and not feel uncomfortable. And we do also a lot of fun things in our organization. We do company lunches from May through September. We have a beautiful outside atrium area that we go out to. Sometimes the managers have to cook the hot dogs and the brats and set the stands up, and we're the servers. And other times we have food trucks or caterers bring lunch in. We do raffles at those lunches. And we try to introduce any of the new employees during that time period as well to make them feel welcome. But just trying to create a fun atmosphere that you want to go to work in the morning versus the, oh God, I have to get up and go to work this morning.
Yep. Awesome. Kristen?
Yeah, I would say just making sure to engage with your staff, the community, the schools. You know, our businesses are such big parts of our community that it's important that we're really being intentional with our communication and what we bring to the community. And I think that's where we are impactful as leaders. And I also think that leading your teams with empathy is so important. I know I would hear about the person who was in my role before me and some of the decisions she would make or how she would handle things. And just thinking back, I'm like, oh, I guess I would have handled that differently. So I think really getting to know your staff and understanding what's important to them and what drives them, what engages them is so important.
Good. Couldn't agree more. Last question. How are you handling the constant request for a hybrid work environment? What's your policy been during COVID, and did you change it, you know, kind of where we're at now? Peggy?
Well, we're very fortunate. We do not have anybody that wants to work hybrid. They all want to come in. We probably have about 20 people in our office, but everybody likes to come in, and they're usually intermingling with the other employees, the other managers in there on a daily basis. During COVID, I would say there were only 2 or 3 people in the ranks from, you know, managers to office to our baseline workers that, due to children either having COVID or their schools shutting down or their babysitter not being able to watch the kids, that, you know, needed some extra help. And we let those folks work from home as much as they could and tried to support them as much as they could. COVID has really slowed down from what we have seen. I think we've only had maybe 1 or 2 cases in the last 6 to 8 months. So We're thankful for that, but otherwise, everybody is pretty happy just to be back into the office and having some fun again.
Great. Kristen?
So prior to COVID, we were very paperless, and when COVID happened, we were able to just kind of pick up and work from home immediately. Since returning back to the office, we have quite a few staff that are hybrid. Staff really enjoy being back in the office, but then we also have quite a few staff that are in the Milwaukee area, the Madison area. We also have a staff member who's moving to Seattle. So in order to retain her, as we all know it's hard to replace those roles. We are allowing her to move to a fully remote opportunity. So we're very flexible in that sense. During tax season, we also had 2 staff members who went fully remote. They both got puppies, and in order to provide them with that flexibility, we allowed them to work remotely, and things have gone well with them. So it's really just about being intentional with your staff, setting the expectations, and making sure that you're doing check-ins with them.
Great. Amy?
All right, does everybody remember what Peggy said? Because I could just say a big old ditto. It's like she stole my notes. But but what are the commonalities, right? The commonalities are a strong culture where people want to come. I've never had a job, I'll be 44 years old this year. I've never had a job that I get excited to go to work on Monday. I get excited to go to work on Monday, right? So paying attention to that culture, I think, really trickles down into the organization, where even through COVID, obviously we had, masking and social distancing and everything like that, and we were super, super flexible with people, but everybody wanted to come back. And we don't even get requests at all for people to work from home. So again, just keep working on that culture, and a lot of it comes. But I would add, I talk to a lot of people who are in different industries, like if you're in insurance or if you're in banking or something like that, where people aren't really required to go to work, and you're not required to be all in the same place. You just really have to check in with yourself and with your leadership team and say, well, what is it that we really need to be the best organization that we can be, to live up to our values, to be able to execute our mission and everything like that? And then pick a stance and be consistent with it as much as possible, right? Because there are a lot of people in this room, and what works for us isn't going to work for you. And to some of you, you're like, my gosh, that's far too simple, lady. That would never work for me. Well, what works for you doesn't work for me. So that's why you just got to really check in and do that analysis and say, hey, what are we trying to do here? What's most important to our customers? What's most important to our people? And then how far can we push it to be able to get that positive outcome?
Right. Listen to that feedback, right, that you're getting, that we get all the time, whether it's from employees or customers. Sure. Tony, do you have a remote back there, or do you want these ones?
So we'll go ahead and ask any questions from the audience, and we'll try to run and grab you. Any questions for the table or the round table? I think we can take a number of questions from the audience. Yep.
Hi, I'm Megan with Blue Door Consulting. You guys talked about a couple of you matching inflation with compensation. How did you balance matching inflation with merit increases by performance, as well as if their salary was already in a comparable market industry? Did you still match inflation? Did you go back and say you're already in a comparable pay range? How did you balance those different factors?
I can take that one first. It was really tempting to get a lot, really dialed in with the data. But when I sat back and I thought about the fact that, hey, we're in really unprecedented times in all of our own lifetimes for the most part, right? Having gone through this before, this just isn't a time to be splitting hairs over 1% here or 1% there. So we chose to just universally apply that. Obviously, if there were some really poor performers, we should be not managing that through compensation. We should be managing it through performance improvement situations. But yeah, Yeah, we just universally did it. Some people got even more than, that inflation plus like say 4 or 5%. I mean, there are people who probably, received a 20% increase, but these are people who are adding a ton of value to our company. So we tend to just not overthink that as much as we absolutely can.
Yeah, I think being prepared is possible, right? So if you were doing some of these compensation increases up to this point, it helped a little bit because you didn't feel so far skewed. But we, from a consulting aspect, we still had clients that said, all right, well, what do we do? Just say we're low, and I say, okay, well, what are we looking at, right? So most of our clients were doing some sort of market, right? So across the board, right? Hey, all employees are getting this, so we can get you at least up a little bit from the inflation standpoint. But then we'll increase that normal wage, right? We're no longer in that 2 to 4% increase. Well, we went from 6 to 8, right? But your low performers still should be getting minimal, right? So that you have that leftover pool of dollars for those A, B, and C players, right? So figuring out how to use that pool of dollars that you've set aside, right? From a standpoint, knowing that it's going to be a little bit higher. So doing that market base across everybody, and then still doing that annual review or whenever that was, and saying, okay, those high performers, you're getting that 8 to 10% on top of that market base. So pretty much the same thing. It was just, it kind of depended on whatever those dollars that you could set aside were, and then figuring out the fairest way from your top performers to apply that. But your people that are in those salary, I know you asked that too, right? Those people that are in that range already and are competitive, we were looking at some sort of bonus, right? They're still getting the market or the inflation, but maybe from a performance standpoint, as those people are going into those high tiers, right, and they're kind of scoping themselves out of the high range that they would be, then looking at some sort of bonus structure for them, so they don't get way too out of whack.
So this might sound silly, but one more quick thing I just thought of, and we talked about this quite a bit because, you can't get too hung up on the percentages, right? Because you think about the difference between your lowest paid employees and your highest paid employees. What's that, say 10% of a small number is really not as meaningful as 10% of a bigger number. So what we did was we took a look at what those numbers would come out to and then adjusted some of the lower ends to be much higher percentages, but they were a dollar amount that was meaningful. It's like if we're going to give somebody a raise during this crazy inflationary time when they're having a hard time paying for things like gas and childcare, I'm not giving them less than $1 or $2 per hour because that's more of a kick in the teeth than anything else. So just being really real about it, our leadership team was very much on board with just making the investments because it's going to cost us a lot more in the long run if we end up losing those people who are working really well for us.
We handled that exactly the same as you.
Any other questions? Let's got another one for the panel. All right.
So you guys talk about, I know you mentioned profit sharing, but just curious from a retirement standpoint, what your companies do and what you offer for retirement benefits.
We have the standard 401k, and we do a match. We match dollar for dollar up through 3%, and then 50 cents on a dollar for 4 and 5%. So, and we have a dynamite gal who we have worked with for many, many years, and she comes in for every employee that we hire, and she sits down with them, and they very rarely leave that room without signing up. She kind of plays into, for your future and where else can you get a dollar for dollar match? Where are you going to double your dollar? Nowhere else. So we get a lot of people that sign up and participate, and we have employees that have been there close to 30 years, so they have some really nice retirement sums.
Yeah, I think pretty standard. The only thing outside that some of our clients are doing is they're providing some sort of financial advisor on a deeper level and bringing them as a benefit to whatever employees would want to meet with them, right? So more of a personalized approach, right? want to be done when I'm X. It's not just, okay, you're low, medium, or high risk, but more that I want to buy that lake house, or I want to buy that second house, or I want to pay off my mortgage. Okay, well then here we can get you there. So bringing in an actual person dedicated to the organization to meet with those employees. Most of the people that we work with or that we refer in are like some sort of per head fee from an annual standpoint. So just a little bit more to, I think people know now most of the time, okay, let me go put money in my 401. But what are your goals, right? So digging in and actually providing that advisor at a free of cost, right? I don't know if you guys have anything else.
It was pretty much the same. We do the 401k match, and then we work with Nicolay Bank. So we've got the people who come in. The lists are generally full for the financial advising sessions, and people come out with a smile on their face. So even if it doesn't seem like something that you would need to do, you probably should be doing it. I also, at a former employer, worked with a company out of the Milwaukee area called Francis Investment Council. They're really good. I can't say enough good things about them. We worked with a guy named Tim Shirk and a woman named Kelly Send, and they were both really great advisors, and our people love talking with them.
We also offer a dollar for dollar 4% match, and we do have a wealth management program, so our advisors will teach lunch and learns to our staff and make sure that they are taking advantage of their benefits.
Good. More questions? Got a couple over here.
Great question, Carson. All right, so I think, I mean, we lean heavily on a 5G and brokers' right to say, how can we be more competitive? Some of our clients haven't put into place pet insurance, which is very cheap. So, you know, taking a vote, right, and how many employees will use it, and they're like, great, we'll get it. So pet insurance. Adoption, right? Either reimbursement or dollars towards adoption fees, and a lot of student loan paybacks, right, as a benefit to stay on X amount of years. Those are just kind of three new ones probably over the last 12, 18 months that we've worked with.
So we have the FSA, and then we are looking into the LSA, so the lifestyle savings account, which was really interesting. I know EBC offers that. And then we also offer it's not college tuition reimbursement, but it is for the CPA licensing or any other licensing for our staff who are not CPA eligible. So we do offer reimbursement for that. And then we are also looking into offering a workout, discounts with a wellness center.
Let's see, we have a gym on site, but for people who aren't on site here in Green Bay, we do gym member reimbursement, but we require them to go a certain number of times per month. We were just kind of carte blanche paying for it, but that doesn't make any sense. I'm not paying for your bougie health club if you're not going to go there. So that changed a little while ago, and so yeah, we've got that. We've got the standard stuff, the ancillary benefits for things like hospital accident, things like that. Tuition reimbursement is something that we had never done as an organization, so we're just kind of dipping our toe in the water there. So we'll do, right now it's just up to like $1,500 per year, but we don't include things like licenses and certifications in that. Those are separate. So any of that tuition reimbursement would be for like a degree program. I don't need somebody to, pay me back for their SHRM certification. I really just, want to help somebody be, successful in their career. So. I know we're looking at a bunch of other things too, but just haven't really moved forward with them. We are trying to catch up a little bit. We didn't have some of the group term life programs that we should have, and like the long-term disability program wasn't real strong, and it was individually rated, and it was expensive, and our short-term disability program just wasn't where it needed to be. So have really spent the last 2 years looking at us as a smaller employer. I think I was number 102 employees. We now have 165, so we've grown substantially, and we're starting to pull from different markets. So don't always be looking for just, what can we add, but looking at who your competitors are, and who, not even your competitors, but what markets are you going to be pulling from. You had mentioned before you're a CPA firm, but you're pulling from manufacturing. Make sure that you're taking a look at those, and that you're at that level or beating it, because that's how you win the game.
Perfect. Any other questions? Otherwise, we're going to take a really quick 5-minute break, and then we have Mr. Butler going to be here very soon. So you want to take 5 minutes? Let's be back in the room. If you have one more question, feel free to answer. You guys can walk around if we have another question too. But at 2:28, make sure you be back here, and we have one more question here.
How do you guys stay competitive with your maternity/paternity leave of absence? Or do you look at that as a way to be competitive?
Paternity and maternity, like being competitive.
Maternity leave. How do you stay competitive, and what do you do for maternity leave?
Yeah, we're not at Packard doing anything with paternity leave at this point. I know my former employer, we did move to that. We were a much more substantial company where we could afford to do that. But yeah, with maternity leave, we offer just our standard short-term disability program.
That is something that we don't offer right now as well. We are looking into paternal, or I guess paternity leave, or I guess parental leave, actually. Yes, parental leave. So I know that's something that we would like to launch for next year. And right now we just utilize short-term disability, FMLA, and then PTO. We do offer quite a bit of PTO to our staff. So we try not to allow them to use, as little as possible, but that is something we're looking into.
Yeah, and just from a client aspect, because some of these small to mid-sizes, right, are really looking at, maternity pretty much the same, right? If they don't comply with FMLA, then they're going to do the short term, right? So off completely for those 8 weeks, but then the following 4 weeks are most likely part-time, which is what I did too for my firm. And then from the paternity side, looking at just kind of lumping in either a chunk of vacation hours, right, X to be used by X date, right? Not like you had the baby in June and then like all of hunting week, you're requesting off. But so doing anywhere from like 2 to 4 weeks for that. But again, lumping it in from like a PTO chunk or something. They didn't have something too formalized yet. But again, we're kind of in that 10 to 60-ish employee range. So again, a little bit smaller, probably not as lump sum or large of a sum of benefits. But yeah.
Well, good. Well, let's thank our panelists for being up here and taking the time for us today. It's always great to hear different perceptions and what each person's doing. But I think a big takeaway there is it's not rocket science what a lot of these companies are doing. It's all about culture and people and education.
Yeah, thanks, Rick.
Thank you.
Hi. Let me jump. Oh, nice job up there, guys. Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? All right. At this time, I'm excited to welcome this year's keynote speaker. He was the first player in NFL history to record 20-plus sacks and 20-plus interceptions in a career. He was on the NFL 1990s All-Decade First Team, Super Bowl 31 champion, Green Bay Packers Hall of Fame inductee, most recently in 2022 being inducted into Pro Football's Hall of Fame, a fan favorite and inventor of the Lambeau Leap, Leroy Butler!
Hello. I am very, very excited to be here. I'm hoping that 50% of you guys don't know me so you can learn my story. But I just want to put out some rumors right now. Emily and Lauren, the number they're selling on Facebook is not my number. So if you Cash App them, don't pay for it. It's not my number. So I'm very excited to be here. I am Leroy Butler, Pro Football Hall of Famer, but that's not that big of a deal. But being here with 5G is exceptional because I love when you be nice to the employees, right? So, that one ain't working?
This one ain't working the greatest.
Maybe I got it on mute.
It might be off, yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, it's probably on mute.
Gotta turn it on.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to Florida State. Yes. Can I start over? Or did y'all hear? No, really, because if I was here, I'd be like, are they giving away any jerseys or anything? Can we get money? Can we get a picture? All of that's true. Now, if you don't know me, I am kind of an outlier for how players are and how they act. So when you hear some of these stories, it's gonna be hard to believe, but allegedly it's true. But I'm gonna fast forward because I'm so excited. Because the Green Bay Packers just got the draft in 2025. I was telling the girls are Lauren and Emily, they're like my daughters. I won a $5 bet with my nephew. He says, you're never gonna get the draft in Green Bay. I said, why? He said, the weather. I said, listen, in April it's nice here. What are you talking about? And then, because he knows that I live in Oak Creek. Well, I take that back. I live in Milwaukee. People may not know where Oak Creek is. So when I'm in LA, I don't say I live in Oak Creek. They be like, huh? Don't all the players stay in Green Bay for the rest of their lives? No. But I stay in Wisconsin because I love Wisconsin. So when I heard that I won $5 from him because that's all me and him can bet. This is the smallest market, but it was also voted the best place to live, right? So you're thinking hundreds of thousands of people are going to be here. I'm not trying to hear about no hotels. We'll find some place for you to stay, okay? Restaurants, we got plenty of food. But just give us an opportunity to put on a national stage the best franchise that don't have an owner. You guys are owners. Well, the ones who got the stock certificate. Who's a stockholder here? Now, I'm going to tell you this right now. I talked to Tony. You cannot leave unless you vote for me to be on the board. Yeah, we're pulling cards right away, so you vote for me. No pressure. But I was excited because that's the kind of national stuff you see all the time, and for it to be here is just so amazing. And one more thing before I get to my story, that when I got the knock to go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, I remember going to LA, and it was like all these police officers and everybody's like, I say, everybody in LA either thinks they're famous or they work hard to be. I mean, they'll hire their friends to follow them around with cameras. I'm like, we don't have TMZ in Wisconsin. I mean, you get out the airport, people right in your face. I love it here because people are normal people. We don't need a bunch of security. The girls are my security. I mean, but I'm gonna tell you a little bit about Leroy Butler that I guarantee you maybe 50% or more what I've gone through, you've probably experienced. My mom raised 5 kids in the projects in the inner city, and the poverty was at its all-time high. Violence, everything. She brought up these kids, and you think about Florida, you're thinking about maybe like Disney World, the beach, swimming, nice stuff. But for me, it was difficult because ever since I can remember, I was disabled. I was a special needs kid, I was special education. Any teachers in here? Oh, that's a good ringtone right there. Any teachers in here? Do you know any teachers? Anybody in y'all family teachers? My daughter's a special ed teacher. Oh, you're gonna make me cry. You hug her for me. I will. I love teachers because to me, the teachers are the smartest people in the world, and I'm gonna explain it. I used to have braces on my legs like Forrest Gump, and I'm thinking to myself, every time I get off the bus, it was always 3 or 4 kids there to pick on me, to bully me or whatever. Didn't matter to me. I'm going to class. And it's just me and my teacher in the class, and she's teaching me things. And I used to say, this is just so amazing how I can come get a free education. And then the light went off with my mother and my grandmother. My grandmother said, God gave everybody a talent. Now I'm thinking, wait a minute. Okay, Grandma, poverty, I wear hand-me-downs, I got braces on my legs, I have to have crutches sometimes, even sometimes a wheelchair. What's my talent? She said, oh, you have one of the best talents. Your talent is you can ignore negative stuff. Because the negative stuff creep in, then you react to it, and then you're off track. So if it's negative, block it out. And then my mom took it further, my hero. She said, be a leader, not a follower. But if you're going to follow, choose the right leaders. I said, Mom, that's too deep. I'm only 8. I mean, give me the Cliff Notes. Your teachers are the heroes. So I said, okay. So we're on the bus, and the kids are debating, who's the smartest person in the world? Who's the smartest person in the world? Obviously, all women are smarter. Trust me, I know that, because my wife will be here shortly. Some guy said a doctor, astronaut. And then some guy said a construction guy could build these nice buildings. They were out. Nobody said a teacher. And I waited patiently. I said, wait a minute. None of these people wake up and operate on a brain. They all had teachers. Everybody was like, yeah, you're right. So when I went to school, my teachers were my hero. I had a 5th grade teacher tell me this, because my mom said, what do you want to be when you grow up? I said, I'm playing in the NFL to get you out of the projects. That's the goal. And my teacher said, wait a minute. You know they have playbooks. I said, what's a playbook? Well, a playbook. I said, yes. I watch the NFL every Sunday, right after Tarzan, by the way, and church. I'm from down south. We go to church 15 days a week. Stay at church. Like, Pastor, the game's on, buddy. Wrap it up. I'm trying to get home to watch the NFL, man. And all of a sudden, it was like, okay, I get it. If they have playbooks, I got to learn. I had a reading disorder and a learning disorder. A lot of negative checks. I had anxiety. I didn't know what anxiety was. My teacher explained it. Then it dawned on me, teachers don't do this for the money. Trust me. They do it for students like me, a special needs kid who's been bullied and picked on. But at the end of the day, when it's just me and her or him, they're teaching me to learn these plays in the book. So to me, the older that I got, you would think it'd get better. No, it got worse. And then Miss Jones, in my 6th grade class, she's a very upbeat teacher. Now her makeup was running, she was crying. I was like, what's wrong? Everybody was at recess. She said, I just found out something. Little Johnny is having a sleepover, and you're the only one did not get an invite. I said, wait a minute, let me get this straight. So parents let other parents let their kids sleep at a stranger's house? My mom ain't letting me do that. Nah, they did me a favor. Can you imagine me coming home? Mom, I want to stay at little Johnny's house. No, that ain't going to happen. But it was fun because kids they were going to go hiking and all this fun stuff, but don't invite the special needs kid. I say, I don't care. That don't bother me. But what we can do, we can work on my colors in the coloring book. The crayon box, because she thought I was colorblind. I think my mom did too. So she brilliantly got the crayon box and was going through the colors. So it wasn't that I was colorblind, I just couldn't articulate the other colors, like violet. Who made that up? I can't say it. So that don't mean I don't know what it is, I just can't say it. She cured that. Depression? You're having depression. Because I'm butler, I'm first, so I have to get up and read. They said, do you have a stuttering problem? No, but I know the kids are watching me, and if I read really slow, they're going to pick on me. So my teacher, I want everybody to stand up and turn to the back of the class. So everybody's turning around this way. And then I'm facing her. She said, now read. I start to read. She says, oh, you, I know, you just don't want people watching you, but block them out and read what you're looking at, and so you can articulate the word. So when I'm listening to you, I can know what you mean. She cured it. Even now to this day, I get therapy once a week for the last 20 years. That's why I'm so grounded and just kind of weird energy like, because everything to me, somebody probably got it worse. But even with prompters now, I work with Spectrum News 1. Every Monday with Dennis and Gary, I write my own stuff. I got it memorized. So when I see the prompter moving, it doesn't bother me. A teacher told me that. Write your own stuff. They load it, you know what it's about to say, and then you can just talk. That's what really helped me. So now I get to junior high, I say, okay, by now, I should know if I'm a pretty good athlete. No. I didn't have like a six-pack, I had like a one-pack. Like one piece of like muscle and the rest was fat. But hey, I tried hard, right? So my mom said, you know what? You gotta outsmart people, because you're not the biggest. You gotta outsmart, and I was the slowest, because I was extremely pigeon-toed. My feet were like this. So I'm like, okay, so learning the plays can help you. Because the guy with the six-pack, with the V shape and the nice hair, he can run a 4.3 and a 40. He doesn't know the plays. I do. So he has to come to me. What do? I said, don't you study like me? No, I don't. I go to the mall and go, no, you got to study. But I'm a good leader. I help him out. And then I'm thinking to myself, that's it. I'm not going to worry about somebody in the other cubicle. I'm going to worry about what's in mine. And if I meet somebody in the company I've never seen before at the water cooler or whatever, it's not awkward, because I just says, hi, how you doing? Next thing you know, we get a project, and there's three of us who've never met each other, and we know we got to do this project, and we get flying colors because we network. You got to have that in sports and in life. Now, I will say this, high school for me, very emotional, because in high school, if you don't have a bunch of friends, they think you're like an alien, like something got to be wrong with you. But for me, I only wanted to talk about three letters and two things in high school, and I get it. I only want to talk about God and the NFL. So I get it if you're like 17 years old, and I come up to you, hey, you want to have Bible study? Like, dude, leave me alone. I get it. But for me, I got to get my mom out of poverty. Nothing's going to stand in my way. So I didn't have a lot of friends. My brothers went to the school. They weren't even my friends. There's nobody. Because I had this way of thinking, I got to make it. I was obsessed with being a good person. So I remember sitting in algebra thinking to myself, who in the world invented algebra? Where did they get this stuff from? I have to add two letters to get a number. That number turns into a letter, and it's a ladder, and it's a zero equals a paragraph. But if Miss Gordon can teach it to me, she is brilliant. Sitting in there, and the principal says, I'd like to make an announcement. The first ever All-American ever in Lee High School history, Leroy Butler. I said, wait, he just said my name. Nobody knew me in school. This is a preseason All-American, the first ever in the school history. And then the bell rang, and I started walking like this in the hallway. I didn't have a mustache, but like a Sharpie will fix that, don't know. Guys, I'm sorry I gave away our secret. But guys, give me a break. It was something at my locker that I've never seen before. And I'm walking to my locker, and I got that same strut. Oh, 3 things around my locker. I've seen them on like that Mutual of Omaha. If you're 50 years old, you know what that program is. These millennials like, what is he talking about? Never mind. I've seen like this species on TV and just never up close. I get over to my locker, there's 3 girls around my locker. What do I do? What do I say? I've never been this close to a girl before. And guys, they smell really good. I'm used to being around football players. They all smell like bologna, so this is amazing. I said, okay, I'm going to just be cool. Just be cool. Don't say nothing crazy. Be respectful. I said, how you doing, girls? You know. And one of them, it's always a leader. She steps out. Congratulations on being All-American. I said, wait a minute. They just made the announcement. How did you know where my locker was? And she said, we have our ways of finding out things. Now, girls down south, they talk with their necks in their hand. We have our ways of finding out. I said, whoa. I said, chill, girls, chill. And then they start to leave. I said, wait, come here, girls, come here. Are you telling me women only like smart, rich, respectful guys? She turned around like the Matrix. I mean, it was like, yep, that's all we like. And they left. Whoa, I didn't know that. I mean, this is amazing, man. A girl spoke to me. I was all, this is amazing. So it changed my life. And then, this when I knew it was a God. It was 3 or 4 things in my life that if you ever think there's a God, this is amazing. Coach Bobby Bowden, he gets a list of All-Americans every year at Florida State, every year. I was number 32 because I didn't pass the SAT test. And I said, what is that? The same people invented algebra? What is going on? No, you got to pass the test to go to college. I didn't pass it. Another negative check. So I thought my life was over. Can't go to the NFL, you can't go to college, it's over. Miss Gordon, my favorite teacher, she read the fine print. The fine print is what guys never read. We just want to know what it costs. Honey, what are the terms of that and how much it costs? I don't need to know all that. No. She read it and it says you can still go to college, but you can't play football your freshman year. So I need to make a home visit. Coach Bobby Bowden, rest in peace. He says, I want to come to the project to tell your mom that we're giving you a scholarship. I said, Coach, you can't come into the projects, man. You can't just drive down in there like, it's not like that. And he was laughing so hard. He's like, what do you mean I go visit kids? I said, no, Coach, you can't do, I got to meet you somewhere. So it's a true story. I met him at like a gas station. I was on my bike, and they followed me into the projects. And you got guys standing around a can with like, you know, malt liquor in the back pocket. Like, who's the guy driving around? I mean, it was dangerous stuff. That's Coach Bobby Bowden. Oh, Coach Bowden was an iconic figure that was bigger than life. He's coming into the projects to see Mr. Butler. Mr. Butler lived right down there. They got a convoy of cars. He gets out, and this is the projects. It was 95 degrees. We had no air conditioning. I mean, it was hot. I mean, it was like, I said, oh, boy, you're hoping everything's perfect. And then you try to offer him some water, but something's floating on the top. And you just kind of, when he turns his head, you kind of pour it off of the edge. So, it was in one of those red cups that we didn't have time to wash. But this poverty, man, this is, he said, Miss Butler, I got to give your son a scholarship. He could have made any visit on that list. Any one of those kids, all of them All-Americans, everybody good. Any of those kids, something told him, I want to go to Mr. Butler's house. God is good. Oh, I think I hit something. I'm sorry. Because I like my picture up there. I'm sorry. But, so, can you come? I'm sorry. Don't tell the girls because they think that I'm perfect. You get the first autograph. So it changed my life, right? Everything is great. So I get to Florida State University. I'm the first one in my family to ever go to college. The only one. I said, Mom, how many people in the family tree has ever gone to college? She said, nobody. I said, no, Mom. It's like a tree and there's a bunch of names. And everything is like, she said, listen, the leaves, the bark, I mean, the soil, nobody's ever gone to college. You're the first. Great. But I got emotional, and I got by myself, and I prayed. I said, I was thanking God for this opportunity, and to me, God was saying, don't fumble it by doing something crazy, getting in trouble, breaking the law, being disrespectful, getting kicked out of school. You got the best handoff of all time. Don't fumble it. So I get to, now this was kind of weird, I must say. I'm at Florida State. The team, which I can't play my freshman year, they're going to play Michigan. They're on the bus to go to the airport to fly to Michigan. Now, I'm standing outside the dorms, waving to them, smiling like the Penguins, like, y'all have a good game. They're like, you can see their face like, wouldn't you be like upset? No, I got plenty of time. I got plenty of time to play football. I got my GPA up from a 2.1 to like a 3.0. That's amazing. My daughter's like a 4.5. I didn't know they'd go over 2.1. My wife just graduated from UW Whitewater. She's my hero. There's no way I can do that at 54. No, I ain't doing it. So I stay in my lane. But I was excited. My sophomore year, pretty decent football player. My junior year, pretty good. My senior year, okay, you millennials, more homework for y'all. I got a chance to meet Bob Hope. Nobody 50 and up here? No Bob Hope? Y'all don't have the internet? I thought Bob Hope would be a standing ovation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Listen, Bob Hope was huge, and I'm on his show. So I'm like, oh, this is great, this is good. And then, when you're All-American, you get a chance to do some things, right? That, go to certain restaurants and stuff like this. I hope this tape never gets out. But we're just like going to this place, these All-Americans, right? Allegedly, there you go. And huge house, right? Now, I've never seen this house before. So all these All-Americans, we go in to the entrance. I think the rich people call it the foyer, I think. When they open up the door and we come in, all these guys, and I was like, man, this thing it was about the size of this room. I said, man, this is nice. I saw a guy come down a spiral staircase. He had a pipe in his mouth, but it was no smoke. He had a silk robe on. I said, there's my new hero right there. Rest in peace, it was Hugh Hefner. Y'all got some dirty minds. Professionally, he comes down, right? It's Hugh Hefner now. I only got a couple rules, guys. Don't touch the girls and don't steal nothing. So one of the guys said, why are we here? I said, but when you're All-American, they take you everywhere. I mean, we see a mansion, girls playing volleyball, allegedly. And that one magazine that's under your bed, your little brother finds, Mom, look what I found under his bed. No, it wasn't mine. Nope. But you meet people. My point is you meet famous people. I wasn't used to that. I was used to reading the newspaper when it said 3 people shot, 2 in the hospital, my whole life. I was reading that a kid drowned because he couldn't swim. So my mom put us in swimming lessons. That's what I was used to reading. I wasn't used to this stuff. But I'm going back to Jacksonville, Florida to have a draft party. This is unprecedented that a young man can have a draft party. We got like 50 people crammed in this apartment for maybe 7 people. And this has never been done before. So this is like a big deal. So I'm like, okay, how does it work? And so the NFL, they were very nice. So, and at the time, don't boo me. You better not, Tony, watch people. Don't boo me. I was a Cowboy fan. Oh, good, y'all good people. Well, whoever that groaning, be nice. I'm from Florida. We don't get Packer games. Because real quick, I went to speak at a 3rd grade commencement, and I told them I was a Cowboy fan. They all booed me. I said, listen, little Johnny, I'm from, never mind. But it was a big deal. So I'm thinking the Cowboys are going to draft me, right? Okay, great. First round starts, no phone call. The second round starts, no phone call. So I said to myself, self, just get drafted. And we had a rotary phone, something for you young people again. We got to help this crowd out. It's a rotary phone. It stays on the wall. It's a long bungee cord. And the cord is from here to Milwaukee. It's this long cord. And you must stay right here for it not to be staticky, okay? If somebody walks by you, it's just going to cut out. So I'm thinking my anxiety, a team is going to call me and it's going to be busy. So I'm like, okay, phone's going to ring. And then it was quiet, and then the phone rang. I said, hello, this is Lee Rimmel with the Green Bay Packers. We want to talk to Leroy Bell. I said, yes. I said, this is me. I've been waiting on this my whole life. I'm going through all this. He said, wait. Before we select you, you got to talk to the head coach. I said, put him on the phone. Why I'm talking to you? Let's get this party started. Come on, Lee. Hello, this is Lindy Infante of the Green Bay Packers. I said, yes. It was if God was talking to me. He was like, oh, this is great, this and this. And I said, yeah, but when I get my money, man, because I ain't got no money. He was laughing. He said, wait. Before we draft you, do you have any questions? I said, yes, I do have a question. Where's Green Bay? There was no internet. Siri wasn't born yet. Alexa wasn't even thought of. So you don't know the weather. I've never been in Wisconsin. I didn't know. I thought they played all the games in Milwaukee. No, we only play a few. He's dying laughing. He said, okay, what? They turned the card in. And then he said, go in there and your family will see it at the bottom of the crawl. I said, Coach, I can't because I'm on a rotary phone. I can't leave this spot. He started laughing. He was like, are you? I said, yes. He said, we should have got you a phone. I said, it's okay. We'll be able to get one in 1 second. You turn that card in. And I got really emotional because I also told him that I couldn't see in there because we had a television and it was so small, we got to watch it one at a time. Everybody's like, okay, not your turn. And your turn. Hey! He got drafted. Chris Berman, the Green Bay Packers select Leroy Butler. The entire neighborhood went crazy. They went crazy. I mean, my mom was thanking God. This is amazing for a special needs kid just got drafted. I mean, it don't even seem like it was real. I mean, this is in the inner city where violence was out of control. Everybody paused that whole weekend to see what was happening. Did you hear about this? Did you hear about that? And this one I knew I was going to be a Packer my whole life. I'm on the plane going up May 2nd. Don't forget that date, May 2nd. May 2nd. I'm on the plane. It's a beautiful day in Green Bay. This is the pilot talking. It's a beautiful day in Green Bay. The wind is coming out of the north. It's a beautiful 17 degrees. Now, my girlfriend with me, you ever seen that movie, The Exorcist? Her head turned all the way around. Did he just say? Because when we left Florida, I had on shorts. It was like 84. And she had on like a skirt and a skirt. I don't know who invented that, but it's amazing. And a T-shirt. Can we go into the big press conference? And then as if he heard us talking, he said, yeah, we had a cool front come through. She said, what's a cool front? I have no idea. But this one I know I want to be a Packer my whole life. Some guy gets up and brings me his Packer jacket. And his wife gave my girlfriend her jacket. They had no idea who we were. But they know like my neighbor at Oak Creek, he has shorts on year round. This guy's out there doing snow and shorts. I said, you crazy. You're crazy. I'm like, this is amazing. And then when I got there, right, I'm at Lambeau Field, God's country, when you come in, and it's got a band going on. It was like 2 o'clock on a Tuesday. I said, do these people have jobs? I mean, everybody got on green and gold. The dog got on a green and gold sweater. Grandma has cheese earrings. Everything got a G on it. I'm like, this is amazing. And I'm walking down the gauntlet shaking hands, and there was a 90-year-old young lady coming towards me with her cane. I said, uh-oh. She couldn't have wanted a selfie because they weren't out yet, so I don't know. She says, I got to tell you a few things. I said, yes, ma'am. You must never lose to the Minnesota Vikings. Whoa! And then this next team, she got her cane and put it right over my heart. She poked it. And you better not lose to the Bears. Whoa, okay. And then she started to leave. I said, ma'am, wait. We still have Detroit and Tampa in our conference. She said, you won't have any problem with those two teams. You're good. So I get over here. I see Bart Starr, and it's like, man, this is great, man. The fans are fantastic. And, you know, next 1990, I think we were 6-10. It wasn't my fault. I had nothing to do with it. The next year, we were like 4-12. Again, was not my fault. Get better players, because I'm doing good. Then the next year, they said, we got a new quarterback. I said, wait a minute, Don Mikowski's our quarterback. No, we got a new quarterback. They just traded for him, Brett Favre. I said, okay. And then the next year, Reggie White. Why is Reggie White in there getting a physical? I heard he was going to San Francisco. No, he just signed. I said, wow, Reggie. The losing culture is gone. I didn't know who Mike Holmgren was. I'm dead serious. But the only thing he was focused on is winning. The culture changed. 1995, we got the Cowboys on the ropes. We let them off the hook. 1996, things changed. Desmond Howard, Andre Rison, Bruce Wilkinson, these guys, we all came together. We had a team meeting on the way back from when we lost to Dallas. Coach Holmgren said, next year we're going to win it. When you swipe your key card, it turns green. Leave your problems outside. Come in with a team mentality. If you swipe it and it turns red, go to HR. You've just been traded. I can't get in. Dude, we traded you. Get out of here. Can't let you back in the building. So we had fun. That's how we won. So every day, if you don't wake up thinking that 5G has to be on top, we are losing. Everybody got to be on the same page for you to win. Not one, not everybody. If the company wins, we win. That's how we won. We had too many guys thinking about other stuff. Nope. When you come into the building, one team, one dream. That's for every company. And then we get to the Super Bowl. And we played the Patriots, by the way, and we had 4 interns to make sure they didn't deflate the footballs. This side of the room has never heard that joke. Tom Brady and deflate, never mind. But we played the Patriots and we beat them, and it was amazing because my family was there, and we think about all the fans. I saw a sign, and it says, 30 years of misery has ended. We won in the Super Bowl. And I thought about for 30 years, it was tough around here, but now you win the Super Bowl. And then I saw the trophy, and you see Lombardi's name on it. You're thinking, man, that is amazing. You know, from where I came from a wheelchair, that is just truly amazing. And then I saw guys crying. I'm like, whoa, grown man cry. Like, then I thought about the times I cried. Would y'all like to know? Yeah. I don't mind telling you. The first was when your daughter picks the movie and it's The Notebook. But Dad, why do you cry on the same part every time? Leave me alone, okay? The Titanic. I see Leonardo DiCaprio, he's frozen on this boat. And he tells this girl, I'm gonna let you live and I'm gonna die so you can live. And he's going down. Bye, Leonardo. You're a better man than me. I wouldn't have done that. But I cried. This movie, Old Yeller, man, I cried. And when a guy won a championship. Now, there's one more reason a guy will cry. Guys, I'm sorry. If a guy gets a raise, direct deposit, and his wife don't know about it. Sitting out there now, F-150 just balling. I can finally get that 30-06 to shoot that 10-pointer. Thank you, God. Now, if your wife's friend is in HR, just tell her. Because she'll go up, you know your husband got a raise. Come on, just tell her. But winning the championship is great. And that's my life story. My life story is a vacation because I love people, I love the network, and I love the fact that a part of my story is really your story. Because you don't have to be this great person to do great things. Just be a nice person. My son, Leroy Butler IV, I named him after me because he can get a pack of tickets, right? Some girl will want to marry him, and that's your legacy. But he's autistic, and he may never do the Lambeau leap, but sometimes saying a paragraph is like doing the leap. It's the same thing. And that's one of the biggest things in my life. I teach him every single day to be a leader. Now, I do want to, do I have time to tell one more story? I got to tell you about the Lambeau leap, because this is amazing. You ain't going to believe some of this stuff. Now, women, y'all got to give us a break, okay? Because I found out something I did not know. Every time I get to the locker room, I always check the weather. I'm from Florida. This is 93. So this side wasn't born. This side definitely was born. They look like my age. It's okay. No judgment. So I go over there and I say, hey, guys, wait a minute. Because I'm kind of a, you know, on game day, some guys, they listen to a Walkman. We didn't have downloads now. You give me a break. They listen to their Walkman, listening to Journey, you know. Me, I'm very loose. Very loose. I say, hey, man, listen. They said, Butler, what's wrong? I said, it's a minus next to a 17. This thing got to be broke because my freezer at home is 32 degrees. They're like, you're weird. What is wrong with you? I said, well, what do? We're gonna be like frozen Packer sickles or something. Listen, we're playing the Raiders. They're from California. That's their business. I'm cold. Well, go get stuff to keep you warm. So I go to get stuff, right? So I go over there, I get everything too. And this is way before COVID. I had the ones just the eyes out. You couldn't see nothing but the eye, like the burglar mask, right? Everything, turtleneck, everything. I got back, it was something in that pile. There was some pantyhose in there. I said, guys, what are the pantyhose for? Is it for our wives? No, son, put them on, they keep you warm. Women have been keeping this secret for thousands of years. And now I got to take them back to see what size I am, right? I'm a nice B, by the way. Or maybe C, but don't judge me. So I put them on. I mean, everybody else we putting them on. I see Reggie White, 6'5", 300 pounds, in pantyhose. Oh. I said, Reggie, ooh. He said, what? I said, you got to run in yours. I said, you got to cut your toenails before you put them on. They said, Butler, how do you know that? I said, never mind, forget about it. No Google. So we get into the game, and I cause a fumble. But when I cause a fumble, wait, is it a Bears fan in here? A fumble is when you hit a guy, he drops the ball. Or a Viking fan, I'm sorry. I mean, no bullying, we just try to help them, right? So I see the ball on the field is frozen. Like this carpet is frozen. So I see the ball, and I'm like, oh, there it is. And then I see Bryce Pop, and I see Tony Bennett. Not the singer, though, he's a player. This side ain't laughed yet, man. Thank y'all, man. Thank y'all. Tony Bennett, never mind. So I see them, and then I see Reggie. Reggie scoops it up, trying to run, but he's running this slow. And so all of a sudden, I run over there, and Bryce Pop falls. He sees Reggie too. Tony falls, because the field is frozen, it's ice. Guess who didn't fall? God is good. I ran over there, and me and Reggie caught eye contact as if we were going to the prom or something, man. It's like, man, pitch the ball. But Mike Holmgren said if a defensive guy ever gets a ball, never lateral it. Don't do that, okay? Don't do it. But it's going to happen, right? So I run over there, and I get it, right? I was so excited. So I get it. This is my first touchdown, y'all. This is amazing. So I get it, and I'm running down the sideline, and I point to this guy. I said, I'm going to jump in the stands. Right there. I'm going to jump right there. Jump. So they were like, why isn't he stopping? He just scored. You score, you stop, go to the bench. No, I'm going to jump. And this guy had a beer in his hand. Now, I don't drink or smoke, although please go out and support Leap Vodka. That's my vodka. Shameless plug. Emily said I can say it. It's okay. So this guy has a beer in his hand. He needs to make a decision. You catch me, or you just drink your frozen beer. So when I get ready, I throw the ball down, I jump up there. He got rid of the beer. He said, man, you owe me a beer. I said, people take their damn beer serious in Wisconsin. But it changed my life. Robert Brooks made a song about it. It blew up. The president of the United States, Bill Clinton, comes here. And this is amazing, real quick. This is amazing. The president comes in, and he got all these Secret Service people, right? And they're like following him around. Wouldn't know you Secret Service, dude. You got glasses on, you're touching your ear. Be normal. So the president comes in, right? I met two presidents, W. Bush, who's cool as a fan, and Clinton. So it's like, okay, I said, Robert, do you have the CD, sorry millennials, a CD of Jump in the Stands, the song, Jump in the Stands, went platinum. He said, yes. I said, give it to me. He said, why? I said, I'm going to give it to the president. You're going to get shot. I said, no, man. Give me this. So he gives it to me. So I'm holding it, right? And I'm holding it. And so I'm waiting. So he's talking to the team. And then all of a sudden, I feel it. I said, Mr. President, have you ever heard of the Lambeau Leap? He said, what's the Lambeau Leap? You have the nuclear codes, but you don't know about the Lambeau Leap? Your team didn't tell you why this is Lambeau Field? This is God's team, man. You're supposed to know that. He's dying laughing. I said, my guy wrote a song about the Lambeau Leap. I want you to have it. The president never supposed to take stuff from a civilian, but this the Packers, okay? And the Secret Service is like, it's the Packers. Let him do it. I don't care. It's Leroy Butler, man. And he put it in this jacket. Got in the car and left. It was amazing. And then it blew up. That was one of the biggest things in my life. But in closing, I will say this, being in the Hall of Fame is amazing, but when they put my name up in the stadium, I thought about my mom and talking to me and my grandmother and talking to people at church, and my mom used to say, why is your son always so happy? You know, is it a bad day? No, he doesn't have a bad day because he knows how his life is going to end. He knows that. He will not let anybody get in his space that's negative. So when you leave here today, when people ask you what I talked about, just say, there's really a blueprint on how do you become successful, that you think about other people first and think about yourself second, because if everybody thought like that, everybody would be first. And that's all you need. Now, the other stuff you can kind of put in, but just tag it with allegedly. But I really appreciate everything y'all do. Y'all been a fantastic audience. I appreciate it. Now, we ready to do we doing Q&A? Oh, boy. Have they been screened? Have you screened these? Do you screen these Q&A? Oh, boy. Hey, I apologize if you're a Bears or a Viking fan. I apologize. No, you can ask whatever you want. Who wants to go first? Just Don't raise your hand at once, but Eric.
Who knocks on your door when you got the HOF call?
Okay, good question. The new president is Jim Porter. It used to be Mr. Baker, tall guy, about 6'8". He used to be, and I talk about anxiety, you go to the Super Bowl, you go in a hotel and they knock on your door, you made it, they'll call you if you didn't make it. So I was a finalist twice, so I would get a phone call. So when he would call me to say I didn't make it, I said, I don't want to hear no speeches, I'll see you next year. No big deal. He said, I appreciate that because some guys really say some weird stuff. But he left. Porter says we should get a teammate to do it. So I was up here doing tours up here at the Packer Hall of Fame, and it was the day before the San Francisco game. And they called my wife. It says he made it, but don't tell him. We got to figure it out. So my wife knew for 2 weeks. Yes, isn't she platinum? And I'm thinking, okay, so they figure it out. So we were in Racine, Wisconsin, not LA, not New York, not Florida. We was in Racine, and it was like 12 degrees. And Charles Woodson comes to the door, and he rung the doorbell first, but I thought it was DoorDash. I ignored it. Boom, boom, boom. So normally, like my dad, he always goes to the door, but he said, hey, Roy Lee, that's my nickname. Go get the door. So I went to the door, and I saw what's in the peephole. It still didn't dawn on me, because I didn't see the gold jacket. And then I started to sweat. I'm like, oh, boy. Then I opened the door. I had my mask on. I thought it was a delivery. And I saw all those people. I shut the door. I said, this is a joke. This is like punked or something. I don't have the anxiety for this. And then I opened the door. It was real. And Mr. Porter was correct. Having a teammate to welcome you in, who went in the year previously, he had his gold jacket on with that Hall of Fame ring. That was amazing. And then my son was there, and my wife, and everybody was there. And I thought about my mom, my grandparents, and any parent with special needs. I thought about teachers, just my life story. I'm doing a documentary on my life story that you'll see probably the same year we're doing the draft, by the way. We may premiere it that same year. As a kid in the South, in poverty, you think of days like that are coming, but you don't know if it's realistic. But when you play in the NFL, and 40,000 people have played this game, and at the time it was only 362 in the Hall of Fame, am I at that elite status? You don't never know. But it's amazing because this platform, I can still help other people and tell my story. So it was Charles Woodson. Yeah, I didn't throw that. Sorry. Yeah. Anybody else? Go ahead.
How did you overcome the physical, limitations?
Great question. Great question. Little leaguers start at 5 years old. They look like little bobbleheads, but they start. I sat on the porch, had the braces on my legs, and I was happy for them. And then I wanted to swim because it was hot. Can't swim because of the braces. But I said to myself, I got plenty of time. It was like God was saying, it's a delay, but you're going to catch up. I wouldn't let anything negative in my brain. But sometimes you could just say that, but it didn't always work. But I had reinforcements around me. My teachers, my sister, my brothers, every day. My sister writing on a piece of paper, NFL, and put it under my pillow. So when your teeth fall out for Tooth Fairy, thank you. I didn't get money, I got an NFL. That was more than money. Because she said, you're going to get the money down the line. So we didn't have like a cookie jar, but we had a jar that was see-through, and you would reach it, and it said NFL. My sister did that. So it was reinforcements around me that was always positive. There was never anything negative. That's how I was able to come. I looked at my feed, and one of them was like, they were like talking to themselves, like, what are you guys doing? So I use humor, networking, and positive reinforcement. That's how I got through it. Thank you. Ooh. Now, then, what are you going to tell her in the back? Ooh. Another great question, real quick. The first thing I did when I got my check, I ain't never seen that kind of money. I did buy her a house first and a car first, because I had to get her some air conditioning, right? So yeah, I bought her a house, my brother and sister houses, so we moved on up like the Jeffersons. Y'all never seen the Jeffersons? This side, Ed. Okay, last one for you.
What coach was like a teacher to you? Like,
Oh, you trying to get me in trouble. What coach? Coach Bobby Bowers was platinum. He taught me how to wash clothes. I had no idea. I thought you just put them all in there and just pour bleach on them and money and you go. But my sister was like, do what the sorority girls do, because we were jamming $1 into it, it says coins only. So he taught me how to be respectful. But to me, Coach Mike Holmgren and Ray Rhodes, those guys were teachers, not just coaches. They cared about me off the field. Mike Sherman, he knew all my daughters' names. He knew their birthdays. And this will be a good one to close on. Coach Holmgren was serious. He gets up, because I had to leave twice because I had kids during the season. Next year, no babies to be delivered during the football season. So Antonio Freeman said, allegedly. So you're telling us to have sex during the season? He said, yeah, forget about that. Have babies in the off season. You know what I mean. We all laughed and fell on the ground. But in a way, there's some truth in some of that. Because I left on a Friday and they induced my wife, and if she was late, I would have missed the Minnesota game, and they needed me, right? So, honey, I got to go. Clip the cord and keep moving. Yeah. Allegedly. You got to learn that word. Okay, you ready?
All right, everybody, let's give it up for Mr. Leroy Butler.
Yay!
Okay, Leroy, if you could please stay on stage. We're going to be doing some amazing giveaways, but we're going to keep it really quick because we have a really fun after party for you today.
All right.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, first giveaway we're going to do today is a signed jersey by Mr. Leroy Butler himself. He signed them for you.
Oh, you didn't sign it?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay. Well.
pick one.
Tony, your name better not be in there.
I have 100 of them, my name's in there.
He probably does.
Okay.
I'll hook you up, don't worry. Can't get my hand.
You got it. You got it.
Okay, man. Watch you be that one Bears fan sitting in here.
All right. Go ahead. Let's let him maybe.
If it's a long name, 19 letters, I can't do it.
Ulrich from Optima.
Ulrich, what's the last name?
Ulrich.
Ulrich. What's your last name, Ulrich? How you say it? You're never getting married with that name. Congratulations.
Ulrich.
Congratulations. Say it one more time for me.
Sorry, you know it took me a while.
That's hilarious. Congratulations.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you. Great
Congratulations.
Much appreciated.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What a great human being. Man, he got a good
Congratulations. Okay, we're going to do one more.
All right. Feel like the price is right.
Pretty close.
Let me see. Let me go down to the side over here. Okay.
What we got? You
Oh,
want-
Kayla Miller?
Miller?
That's close enough.
Nelson Machine?
Nelson machine.
All right, come on up. Congratulations.
Oh, that's it.
It's
Two Nelson machines?
Oh, it's a AR. I'm Nelson machine. AR. Sorry. Hey,
We're gonna hook you up.
yeah. No, wait.
Hey, hold on, wait.
Come here. We're gonna get you one too. Come here. There you go. Yeah. So just get in the picture. You stay right there. We're gonna take individual pictures.
There is the same name.
It is.
It's mine's AR.
You stay right there. We'll take two pictures with one jersey. Okay. Now you come in. Get your jersey.
We actually have 3, but I was gonna keep one
Yeah.
for myself.
All right. So who should we give it to?
This one we got. We have
Okay.
another.
I'm gonna hook you up.
We have another one.
Yeah. Yeah. Trust me. Don't worry. We'll hook you up.
We have 2 more. If it's another Keeler Miller in here.
Okay, so we're going to be giving away a 3-night corporate retreat in Door
Oh,
County.
I'm getting that, Tony.
All right, you can actually scan your cell phone at that QR code to learn all about it, because I could talk your ear off for 3 hours about it. So we're just going to pull the name, and I'll talk to you after about it. It's going to be absolutely incredible. Yeah, this is big time.
Ooh, the value is what? Oh my
What is
goodness.
it? A sleep 30 something?
This one is going to be a sleep 30.
Yeah, large group rental. Oh boy. E-Power Marketing, Michelle Resloff.
Are you here?
You gotta be present. Not here.
Michelle Retzloff,
Resloff?
going once.
Brewer?
Wants to spin again.
Brewer? Bueller? We'll get a consolation prize.
Yes.
Spin again. Okay, let's try. Human Resources and Consulting, Samantha Peterson.
Congratulations. Come on up.
Women in HR, I don't get it.
Here,
Oh,
pass that over to Lauren.
are you gonna take the whole table? Are you gonna take the whole table?
Come on up.
Y'all can come up if you want. Y'all wanna take a picture? Yeah, why y'all acting shy, man? Get up here and take a photo. That's cool.
The whole team.
Ooh, it's
Okay.
a priceless.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
That's
You guys are
amazing.
gonna have a blast up there.
I love this.
Oh, be careful.
Come on up. Come on up. Come on up. I think they could roll that away.
Awesome.
Very nice.
We got one more.
So who? Yeah, you can. Yeah, put it on TikTok.
All right, this is our last giveaway at the legendary Little Harbor in Sturgeon Bay. It is a historical property that has been recently renovated from top to bottom. Absolutely gorgeous. Sleep 32.
Goodness.
Family vacation.
Corporate retreats, family vacations, yoga retreats, elopements.
This is amazing. Accurate pattern, Polly Sackett. Polly.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. You like one of those people that always win stuff. Yes. Come on, Courtney. Courtney, come on. Oh.
All right.
Let's get Courtney in here. Now she got to invite you. Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, let's give a big round of applause for Leroy Butler here for great message, for coming. He is going to be sticking around for photos. No autographs, but we are going to do photos.
Yeah, 1 second. We got one more.
And you do have something else?
Yeah. I hope they can find it now. Don't fumble. Don't fumble. Yeah, no. I got something for you. Because I need you to brag to your friends that you know me. Okay, at the Hall of Fame, the Packers and Hall of Fame and the NFL came together, and the Packers gives gifts for your family and friends, and this year they gave for me.
Super Bowl ring? Oh.
Not quite, but they gave you a crystal
Wow.
Super Bowl. Hall of Fame football.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
So if you check eBay about 5:30, you'll probably see it.
Highest bidder.
I'll put it back in here for you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll put it up for you.
Awesome. Well, we're going to have him sticking around for a little bit, which is awesome. But what a great message from Leroy. Like I said from the beginning, really want people leaving here today feeling appreciated, being energized. Hopefully you got 3 tips, like I said, 3 things written down, at least 3 ideas that you can take to your business, improve the company, improve yourself. And hopefully we did accomplish that today here, and this is an annual event. We try to keep getting better and better as a company. We keep trying to get better and better for this, for this event. But that does conclude this year's 5G Annual Client Workshop. I just want to express my appreciation to the sponsors
Come over here.
as well. Oh, where'd he go? No, he's over there somewhere.
What are they stealing?
And one thing I do, hey, your mic's still on, Leroy. I do want to acknowledge, she keeps running away, but Lauren Strook. Lauren, where are you? There she is. Come on, come up here. Lauren did a massive undertaking for this event. This is the first time I think she's come on stage. Lauren, you did a great job this year. And we've got Bernie as well, and also Emily. But let's get a little photo with. Thank you so much for everything you do for 5G, Lauren.